another post on my blog, a question, because I talk about values most of my time when I'm presenting. Isn't there really just one core value that everybody has, to love and be loved? Well, that's a great question. And thank you for that question. But I believe if I've asked people, thousands of people, how many of you want to be loved and appreciated for who you are? And most everybody puts a hand up. And so I think that's true. I think that that's a core universal principle that tends to be appreciated. Now, what that term love means and appreciation means is really based on their hierarchy of values, which is unique. If you're maybe a musician, you may want to be loved for your music. If you're a football player, maybe you love for your performance. If you're a beautiful and physical model, you may want to be loved for your physical beauty. If you're intelligent, you may want to be loved for your mind. So you will filter that term love through your values, and they will project their term of love through their values. So even though there may be a core idea, I want to be loved for who I am, who you are may be murky, and who people perceive you to be may be murky. So even though we all want to be loved and appreciated for who we are, we probably have a little variations on what that's to look like. And many people aren't appreciated or feeling they're not appreciated because it's not showing up in the form they imagine it to be. So that means that there's also their own individual values kind of filtering through that term, love me for who I am, and I want to be loved and and love. So just know that a hierarchy of values is determining what we perceive love to be. Now, I personally think that love is a synthesis and synchronicity of all pairs of opposites. So nice and mean and kind and cruel and positive and negative and peaceful and wrathful and support and challenge and, admire and despise, peace and wrath, whatever, all pairs of opposites, if you join them together, you get what real love is. Because if you meet somebody, if you expect them to be nice, never mean, kind, never cruel, positive, never negative, you're going to be deluded and have an unrealistic expectation. So if you're going to be able to love them, you got to be able to love both sides of them. Because sometimes you're going to do things that support their values. They're going to be nice as a pussycat. Sometimes you're going to do things that challenges their values. They're going to be mean as a tiger. To love them means to love them for both sides. And many people think I want to be loved for what I like about myself and not love for all of it. So my feeling is that real love embraces the two sides of our nature and of all the pairs of opposite behaviors, because we have them all. Every 4,628 traits I found in the Oxford English Dictionary outlining human behavioral traits, I found every one of them in myself, and I find them in my clients. So to love them is to love all that. And we tend to not do that. We tend to judge things and get rid of these and stay with those. And so when we want to be loved for who we are, it means to love all parts of ourselves. And it starts with ourselves. Anything that you don't love about yourself, anything that you're afraid to disclose about yourself, anything you don't want anybody to know about yourself is something you're having difficulty loving. When you can love that and not have a reaction and be open about that, you'd be surprised that people around you will love you for who you are. So yeah, I think there's a core yearning to want to do that, but I also think that superimposed, or it's on top of that, superimposed is your own hierarchy of values based on the voids and subconsciously stored perceptions you've had that make you feel empty that you want to fulfill in your life. And those are joined together and filtered through those values to determine what is feeling loved. So yes, there's a core value there, but there's also an overlying set of values that we all have that's unique, that's fingerprint specific. So that's my reply. And just know that I love you. And if I react to you, it's only because it's reminding me of something that I haven't loved in myself. So you give me the opportunity to love me, I give the opportunity to love you.